His Royal Highness Alhaji Mustapha Zubairu Adams, the Gom-Mama of Mama Chiefdom, Corridor Development Area, Wamba Local Government. I ascended this throne on the 22nd of May 2019, having retired from the services of Federal Medical Center Kefi as head of nursing services. Having worked in the health sector for about 34 years. The activity I had in the health sector, particularly being in the union for almost half of the time I spent in government service, has actually helped me to steer the ship of this traditional rulership. Because as a unionist, I haven't served well as a unionist without any bias, and balancing it with what I did and now. I feel the challenges of when I was working in FMC Kefi were far hectic than it is here. Because at a point in time in Federal Medical Center Kefi, where I retired, the responsibility of the nurses on me were so enormous. Not just the nurses, but anybody who came to me for assistance. At a point I felt duty bound to assist whoever came to me for assistance. I was sleeping with their problems, waking up with their problems. But as a traditional ruler, what I have tried to do is, when people come to me with their problems, I try to settle them. If they refuse, I tell them to go forward. My own is advisory. I can't compel people to accept. My own is to appeal and say, look, this is how best to do it, because when people come to us, unlike in the normal security setting, like the police where a lot of things have to be done, here everything is free. We don't charge anything for anybody for anything. We've never collected any money from anybody because he has brought a case to us. It is not in our character. So our own is to appeal to people and say, look, this is the best way to go about your problem. But if they insist to go their own way, we advise them to move to the next station, which is contact the police or go to court. And so, since I became chief, honestly speaking, I sleep. Once I go to once I lie down on my bed, I sleep like a baby. I don't have any person for me. In FCKF, it was not like that, because the problem, like I said earlier, was quite enormous. But here, I know I have to help my people. But then, my job here is advisory. If I advise and you say no, I won't compel you. But certainly, if you go to wherever I have advised you, they may ask you to come back to me again. And at that time, we'll now say, okay, you have come back, this is the best way to go about it. And that's how we have been dealing with the situations here. Unfortunately, the Constitution has not made any provision for traditional rulers to act. And they remove all the powers we had then. Because in the past, many years ago, they were the custodians of justice. They were the in charges of courts. They were responsible for sending people, freeing or sending people to prison. To some extent, they were even responsible for executing. And at that time, things became fair. I had a discussion with somebody recently, one of the chiefs. He told me that when they were the custodian of security rests on the traditional rulership, things were better, because you knew your people and you knew how to handle them. But today they are bringing people from various parts of the country to come and ensure security. Sometimes they are not really concerned. Sometimes all they need is maybe the spoils of the office, and not what really, because as far as they are concerned, if anything happens, they will go. It's not their domain. And so Our own job up to this moment is advisory. If you come to us, you need advice, we give you. But we don't go about giving unsolicited advice. But if you come to us and we know you think we have the advice to give or whatever that we can, we will do it. But then I think that recently there's a committee set up nationally to interact with the people at the National Assembly to see how the traditional rulers will be given responsibility in the Constitution, so that they know that this is the job. But for now, we are supposed to take care of our communities, the land, make sure that people don't degrade the land, like people over cutting of timber and the rest of them. We make sure that the security, we have vigilantes who actually are supported by us to ensure that our communities are safe. And we, like I said, as royal fathers, people come to us once they have problem. Then we now inform the authorities that be to come and intervene. And the interaction has been very, very, very well. As far as me I'm concerned, the thing has been very well. And in Nasarawa State, we have a traditional council headed by the Emir of Lafia. So quarterly we go for meetings where we come out with people, problems are identified and solutions are proffered. To some extent, if there are things that we need to tell the governor, we seek appointment with him, go to him and discuss the issues with him. That is how things have been going in the state. And I know that the governor has been cooperating, particularly with there are a committee called Stakeholders Committee, where some traditional rulers are in it, which are like the expanded security. They advise the governor once in a while when he calls for such advice. Well, as you can see, I know you've never been here, but if you were here 2 years ago, it would have been, maybe you wouldn't have even suggested coming to see me, because the road from the junction to this place was in a terrible condition. In 2019, people here were cut off from the other people for about 2 weeks because the bridge, the local bridge, was washed away by rain. And as soon as ASLA came, even without a budget, he included this road. And within 1 year, he completed this road. Besides that, we have the dam, Farinruwa Dam, that was constructed. The construction started by Abdullah Adamu in 2003. Before the end of his tenure in 2007, it had gone to about 60% completion. But when he left, the other government, even though all of them played their role, but they didn't do as much as they could to complete the project. Aliyu Aku actually paid the compensation to the landowners. He was making arrangements to bring some investors before his tenure ended. Al-Makula tried in his own way too, and later appealed to federal government to take over. As we are talking today, last week Saturday, the Minister of Water Resources was here, Engineer Suleiman Adum was here to flag off the construction of the Farinruwa multipurpose dam, which is expected after completion to provide water for irrigation, provide table water for drinking to all the communities around, and also they are factoring about 20 or 25 megawatts of electricity to be generated from it. And all this one came about because of the action of the present governor. Besides that, that is Engineer Sule. Besides that, we have the Farinruwa Falls, which according to the governor recently, he described the falls as one of the best in the world. That he has been to all the falls. He's been to Niagara Falls. He has been to all the falls in the world. This falls is the best. And it was actually identified by Abdullah Adamutu. No, the first governor identified the place. You know, just like River Niger, people were living along the Niger before the Landa brothers discovered it, according to them. So it was the first governor that discovered it, courtesy of one of our commissioners, son of the soil, Alhaji Nasu Isakwara, the present chairman of the NPC. He was the one that brought the government to actually look at that place. Abdullah Adamu went there, and even celebrated his birthday, one of his birthdays there. But then when A.A. Sule came, he took it further by encouraging federal government to take it over. And as I'm talking to you today, the federal government has taken over the Farirua or the Marhai Forest Reserve, which includes the Farirua Falls, as one of the National Park Service, as one of the to be turned into a National Park Service. And he has graded the road from the junction in Mama to that place. Even before this one, a lot of tourists have been coming. It is even better at this time now that it's raining. The falls is very beautiful. Maybe if you have time, you can make up time to go and see the falls. It's a very beautiful sight. Very beautiful at this time. Very fine. If you go there now and see it, you will bring your other people to come and see it. Though it's a distance from here. So we have a lot of government presence here. We have this road constructed by. Besides that, there is this road. Maybe on your way here, you saw one road by the right as you are coming in. That road was awarded by the federal government under Jonathan in 2015. The work started in 2018. This road is supposed to link up with Plateau State. This mountain range here is the boundary between Nasarawa and Plateau State. This road is supposed to link up with Plateau State. Unfortunately, the contractor has been very slow. Though recently I visited the company and he told me that they have solved all their internal crisis and that we may only complain that they are slow, but they won't stop the work again. So both the federal and the state government have been very good to us. And I would say that even though we don't have people in government, but God has shined His light on us and things are getting better for us every day. So we thank everybody, thank the president, we thank the Governor A.A. and all the previous governments who identified. But A.A. has done most because he has penchant for infrastructural development. We are sitting on a lot of mineral resources here. While people are complaining of downfall in the prices of petrol, people are looking for other means of revenue generation. So all that he's doing is to try to see how best he can harness the tourism potential of Farinwa area. Because this dam itself is just about 1 kilometer from here. Once it is the finished construction, it's also going to offer tourism services to people, including the Farinwa Falls too. So he has tried seriously for us. So the division of democracy is quite evident here. And my other part, we call it Jimia district, had this crisis of insecurity. When I came on board, I kept talking. Eventually, the governor heard my cry, contacted the federal government, and they gave us a detachment of mobile force that is